Thank you to all the speakers for all this interesting presentation. Now I think it is the last time for our audience to ask a question and also to share with us in the discussion their project and initiatives, as it is said by many panelists, cooperation, networking. It is very important in order to increase the adoption of nature-based solution. So please don't hesitate to put link to all your initiatives and projects in the discussion. We also, we will take 2 minutes more to invite you again to answer now, if possible. And if it is not so, it is only now, I think, the live poll related to challenges for wide implementation of nature-based solutions. The link is on the chat, so please reply. And we will see after together, we'll check together the results. So we will start to see the question. There is not a lot. I see that Fabio already answered some question directly. So we in the Q&A function, we have one question, interesting one. From Amel Jemay about what will be more sustainable and with socio-economic benefit, roof water harvesting or constructed wetland in roof. So
who wants to reply?
I think Fabio, you started.
Yeah,
so.
I left the ones where I had to write more as live answers. There is the option to choose if to write directly or to answer here. And well, the one I left, because I've replied already to the other 23 questions, but then there are still these 3 or 4 which are general topics. And so for this one, for instance, the answer is that which is more sustainable is all time depending by the local constraints. So we can't say one is the better than the other if we don't see exactly where we are. And that's why we even think that designing NBS is not a cut and copy exercise. We define it as a tailored design, which is meaning that each case has the need to be well understood in all its constraints, thresholds, and so on. And then you can make an evaluation of what is more convenient or not. As a general answer, what we can say is that at the moment, the convenience of the different technologies is still related to the investment cost. And if you operate on the ground, is still all times the most convenient installation. I mean, making a wetland on in the garden is the less expensive option that you can have. If you go on the walls or if you go on the roofs, the costs are at the moment, because the market is not developed yet, because you need to make retrofit and you are not working on new buildings in most of the occasions. Costs are rising up a lot, even 10 or 50 times what you are going to invest for making a land installation. Saying this, here the comparison is more beneficial to have to recycle the gray water on the roof, or to use the same roof as harvesting surface for the rain. Well, that's depending by how much rain is falling in your area. If it is a lot, maybe it could be convenient. Just consider that the green roof is still a good harvesting surface. I mean, all the rain which will fall there will mix with the gray water that you are going to treat there. And the benefit, the social and even economic benefit of having a green roof that is treating the gray water is that you have a continuous loop and a continuous availability of water to be treated. If you are dealing with rain, obviously you will have two sides, a tank as a reservoir where you are accumulating the water, much bigger if you are not in a tropical country where it's raining all the afternoons. But if you have, how to say, a normal spread of rain events along the year, and so you have some periods in which it's not raining, in those days you could not have water to give to the houses if you have not a big enough reservoir that has accumulated all the water from the former rain events. In case of greywater recycling, you can operate with very small tanks, because every day you have someone producing the greywater, which are even the same ones which will reuse it. So the demand of water is strictly linked to the offer, which is not the same for the rainwater. So the advice could be just go for the greywater if you have funds for doing that, and make a green roof recycling the greywater. Then maybe you oversize a bit, or you make two parallel reservoirs, and you also use the overflows which are producing during the rain events for accumulating also that good water, and you mix the both, and the economic feasibility is gaining a lot in that case.
Thank you. Clever suggestion. So there is another one about governance, which is any preferential organization to manage the greywater treatment program and action, or simply given this task to water establishment. It is from Roger Melki, and maybe I will ask Kostas for this answer, because you have water governance. I see a component in your aquacycle project.
In our project, first of all, we would like to hear the voice of the local communities. That's why we implement a PGIS approach by asking, for example, from the simple housewife to a teenager to from a farmer, to point us their needs, and of course to receive also this public perception about the potential of reusing such non-conventional water resources. So to my point of view, first we start with the society, and then going up, knowing, after receiving this knowledge, we go to the upper level, to the stakeholders who are in a position to take the various decisions. This could be water authorities, could be ministries, and other involved organizations. This, to my point of view, depends on the water scarcity, the needs, and what water is available in each region. So if you show that you have a solution available, and you can resolve issues that are directly focused to the people, to my point of view, we can open more easily the doors and have these systems applied with higher replicability, to my point of view. I agree that especially in Europe, the new regulation now forces governments to adopt alternative systems. Do not stay only to concrete systems that the civil engineers like a lot, simple, biological systems and so on, and to be open-minded to new technologies, their capabilities, because these capabilities are proven, they work, they are not science fiction, they can manage a lot with at a very low cost. So to my point of view, if I can reply somehow, it starts from the public perception, and then it goes to those that make the final decisions.
Thank you. So another question, maybe Idrusa, Eleni, if you can answer. I want to ask about antibiotic-resistant bacterial removal in nature-based solution. Is that efficient? I am sure that this question was discussed when designing the case studies.
Can we unmute Eleni, your microphone, please?
Sorry, I thought it. Okay, for us, in order to be on the safe side, we always use UV in order to be sure that we're gonna get the limits. So regarding the wetlands, I think Fabio can tell more. But yeah, in our solution, we always use UV treatment.
Okay, thank you. Maybe also the oxidative system that you planned in Aquacycle, maybe
Yes,
so you have
yes.
some additional answer
If
for
you
this.
allow me, yes, we have a very important partner in our consortium. It's Plataforma Solar de Almeria with a great expertise in solar disinfection technologies. And I would say that yes, by the solar homogeneous photophantom oxidation system, the removal of every kind of bacteria, even we have tested with COVID bacteria, I mean the genes, is possible at very high efficiency and much decreased times, operation times also.
Yes. There is a question about from Wissam about our ancestor had the awareness of water management from the Carthaginian to the Arabs. And unfortunately, nowadays, a problem of conscience and investment cost which block the realization of some project. So I don't know, Irene, maybe I don't know if the ENE CERTE program is also considering this ancestor know-how, and it is integrated on the different calls or not?
Well, I don't find the question I wanted to find. Can you repeat it again?
It is our ancestors had the awareness of water management from the Carthaginian to the Arab. Unfortunately, nowadays, a problem of conscience and investment costs which block the realization of some projects. So I asked if there is some funding. Okay, so please.
Yes, I found it is from Wissam.
Okay, yes, it is from
Wissam. Well, cultural aspects are also taken into the project, and I know from other projects that have taken also this kind of irrigation systems in their in their core. I know from projects, but not on this program. In Tunis and also in Algeria, there are some projects, of course, and if they are not taken into account in the project nowadays, it's because we didn't receive it for now. But most of the projects have also pilot sites that are also in different places where cultural places are cultural irrigation systems are taken into account, because these two projects are on urban spaces, almost on greywater, because greywater is almost on urban spaces, but there are also other projects with non-conventional water reuse sources, and some are also on the agricultural. These would be the place, and that depends on the project. Of course, it's very interesting. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So another question, there is too similar, in fact, about how to apply nature-based solution in existing high-rise building in cities where the sewer is not separated. So Barbara, maybe you can give some examples for this.
So actually, I'm not a technician, but for sure, for example, in a past project, SW.MED, that was an CBC-MED, we studied how we can start to mainstream this process, because mainstream means also find solution to host after the proposed measure. The separation of black water, grey water is a first step that can start from simple for new house, because we are building in the same time new house, and from when we are doing the retrofitting. So, for example, in SW.MED in Ragusa in Sicily, at the end of the project where we study, we propose this kind of solution, we propose some integration of the building code to start foster this process, because if we wait the last moment to have the perfect solution, the barriers I was explaining at the administrative level will block, we stop the process. So we need to foster both levels, but for sure, also answering to the last question, the awareness is important, not only at public level, I mean citizen, but also at decision makers level. And the problems that many of the projects that also myself I mentioned were research project, means that the level of these issues is yet at the research level. Some other programs and the NECBC-MED from this contest is clever to invest in this issue. Other programs, cooperation programs, are more stressed about energy and waste, that for sure are important issue, but they are not yet considering water as crucial issue as should be. And this means that the awareness of decision makers, technician of public authorities, but also cooperation level need to be more aware about these issues, about the possible solution, different challenge to be faced to really reach some good results everywhere.
So we thank you very much, Barbara. We are, I think, behind the time, so I propose to take to see the poll, the results of the poll.
Yeah, Latifa, if I can, sorry, if I can add, just because there was a question about, and I want just to
Yes,
say
please,
that
please.
all the videos and PowerPoint
Yes,
will be published on the Nawamed website and YouTube channel, and for sure we will mail to all participants the link to check them, and also some reference of article that maybe it was Fabio, but also in my presentation, I think of the others are in the PowerPoint. Otherwise, if you don't find something, please write to us without problem.
Okay, thank you. So before to share the result of the poll about challenges, I would like to invite you also as a participant to answer the evaluation survey, and the link is on the chat, so we can have your feedback on this webinar, and that we can use it to improve the next events organized by Nawamed project. So please take a few times, it is not long, it's very short, to answer the evaluation form. So now, Hala, if it is possible to share with us the result of the, yes, thank you. So as you already saw, there is a long list of challenges to widespread implementation or adoption of the nature-based solution, and also Barbara added other challenges that is not here in this list, and also Fabio. So it is brainstorming from CERTE team, in fact, and you put all these challenges, and you can see that the first, the winner, it is the social acceptance of, no, not the social, there is 26, it is lack of specialized companies, and this is true.
That is actually when I was promoting and sharing with you the project of a connecting network to put together enterprise is really a challenge in this moment. And if I can comment, just I will stop. The social acceptance is an idea because also in SW-MED, Latifa, you remember we made some questionnaire And actually it was is not a problem of social acceptance. It's not a problem. It's a problem of technician that believe that we are not upsetting this,
so the second one is, as you said, Barbara, exactly, it is technology transfer from research innovation to market. So it is similar, more or less, to lack of a specialized company. And then we have the conformity to legislation constraints. So this is question, in fact, can we use only nature-based solution and be in conformity with legislation constraint, or should we have a system with several, with classical and also innovative other technique, which will, of course, increase the cost of the proposed solution. Also, we have lack of demonstrative pilot for replication. So there is a need for this demonstrative pilot. And one of aspect which is also underlined by Barbara is the necessity also to have long-time monitoring of this pilot plant. And what presented by Fabio with the results of this long-term planning is really necessary in order to have enough scientific information. So then stakeholder commitment is also very important. And I think we can, just to end our webinar, I would like to say, if you have the possibility to act now in one of the challenges, which one you will choose? So, what I will start, for example, Fabio, what is the most important for you and how to act?
Well, in our experience, which is almost 25 years long, it's been all time the lack of knowledge. So I've put as one of the first points the still current lack of university courses. Well, the material, I would say it's available. I mean, there are the books where to study, are the professors which are not using the books and advising their students to study them. I mean, still these NBS are not considered by the normal engineering and a lot of other technical sectors as one of the technologies to teach at the university. So once they will be inserted, you can imagine that from the same class of the university, you will have both the technicians which will be hired by the authorities and the authorization bodies, and the ones which will make the design. At the moment, we don't have nor the one or the other, and what happens, well, now it's a bit better, but in the past, we were spending much more time in visiting the offices of the public officers, where we had to make training all the time to them for explaining the technologies than the time we were spending for making the design itself. Nowadays, the culture is spreading and things are going better, but still is one of the main points, especially when we go in new countries and so on. So okay. I had really terrible experiences in some countries where they were knowing absolutely zero about the technology, and it was like to start in the beginning 30 years ago here in Italy. So you have really to educate stakeholders to take this technology as robust, well-known, with a lot of background, scientific background done in the back and so on, because they are not yet considered as valid as something where you can push buttons, regulate how much energy you are putting in the system, and manage things in a more technical way. That is how the engineers are normally liking to work, much more than just relying in a very well done design and then not being able to touch the system or to interact with the system during its performance. That is what we let the nature do in network-based solutions. I mean, the human interaction and the operation and management is still important. If you don't manage, they will fail. But it's so irrelevant in terms of process. I mean, you can't push more if the water inlet is coming more dirty, and so you just have to be very conservative at the beginning. And this being more conservative is even increasing a bit the investment cost at the moment. We are forced to be more conservative in order to never fail, let's say.
Okay, thank you, Fabio. So I will take only 1 minute because we are at the time. So Barbara, one challenge and one action, please. Very short.
Marketability of network-based solution means that we need to create all the structure behind the fact that should be a business routine, how I mentioned before. Okay. Because otherwise they will remain only solution on the paper. We need to transfer them at the local level. Means marketing, not only communication at the scientific level or communication, marketing. We need to understand the need, our audience, and transfer.
Okay, thank you. Irene, one challenge, one action.
Well, it's impossible to say one challenge, sorry. I appreciate your call, and I included many things, and I follow the subject of nature-based solutions since many years ago, and I see the evolution. I see the evolution between the definition to the first things that appear as solutions, and the big why is still not a mainstream is because gray solutions, what we call the former engineering solutions, are still taken as the best option. Even if with natural-based solutions, is it possible to comply with legislation? But they imply also to include so many people that you need to be courageous. You need to be somebody who want to change, somebody who want to do the things differently, and is still there that people is not in the mainstream. It's the inclusion of stakeholders is very important because you need to engage them from the beginning so they can help you until the end. And so the pilot situation is not a pilot and appears at the end of the market, as Barbara said, that at the end you can do a real business plan. I was very interested about hearing about the project from Eleni also, that they are also working on the business plan, because it's very important, as you said, to do the whole track on how this is also giving a lot of results, because the good thing of natural-based solutions is that they take one problem, but they give more solutions. Gray solutions are sometimes easy, but they don't give a solution. They give also problems afterwards. And I would say that we need also to keep track and monitor them and engage everybody. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. So, Konstantinos, one challenge, one action. I will try.
I totally agree with Fabio, Barbara, and Irene. To my point of view, and what I have voted in MENDIS is the stakeholders' commitment, because at the end, the decisions goes to the stakeholders if they are going to apply or not a solution provided. Also is the education of the people themselves to understand that this system work. Okay, as Fabio said, this could start from the schools, then move to the universities and in general. Also, go back to Barbara, it has to do with the cost. If you prove that these costs are effective, and it can be even half that the conventional cost with using the technologies already implemented, yes, they do work, but they are costly. Okay. They consume a lot of energy. As already mentioned, in small communities from 2,000 to 15, 30,000 inhabitants, around 50% of the energy expenditure of the local communities goes to pumping, treating, and transferring the water. So if you put it in such a nexus, I am sure that the next year such solutions will be in full scale and will be adopted by the stakeholders at the end.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Eleni, so one challenge, one action.
I will try. I agree with all of you, of course. And I think what Konstantinos says that has to do with education. For example, maybe in Greece, some previous bad management practices are the cause for non-implementation of the NBS now. So the community acceptance is really important, I think. And maybe a solution to start will be the decentralized approach. I think it will be much easier that way and will give a lot of proof for all of us and the public that this can happen, and is our best choice now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. So it is really time to close the event. I am sorry for this delay. We take more time than it is expected. And thank you so much to everyone who joined the webinar today and to the team speakers, very motivated and committed really to the development of nature-based solution for wastewater treatment and reuse in the frame of circular economy, of course, because it is very important, I think, when we speak about marketability. And thank you to the technical support of CERTE team, of IRIDRA, of SVI.MED, and all partner of Nawamed. Thank you, Aquacycle. Thank you, Idrosa. And really, I hope that we will still connected to follow all this case study and how it worked together. Thank you very much to all of you.